were born in a small place called Ambala.
Yes.
In Haryana. And then you went to probably the finest theatre school in India. The audience would like to know, I'm sure, how did that interest of acting and theatre develop in you? And your journey from, say, Ambala to Delhi and NST?
I did my high school in a village called Sanor, which is not far from Ambala. That was my maternal uncle's place. And after that, I moved to the city, Patiala. Ambala, I was just born, and then virtually I did my college and all my studies in Patiala. I took parts in various activities. I was a Boy Scout, I used to participate in games, and also school play. I did 2 school plays. And then I went to college and I started participating.
I'll interrupt. I noticed that you didn't mention studies in school. You mentioned everything else.
Well, I'm sorry, I used to come first. I was monitored till the 10th standard. And I wanted to join the army, in fact, when I was in school. I was preparing for NDA. Then in college, I was again participating in plays, and it so happened that in the youth festival, the play which I did, I got the Best Actor award, and one of the judges was from National School of Drama, and he had his own theatre group called Punjab Kala Manch. His name was Harpal Tivana. He and his wife both were graduate of National School of Drama. They invited me to join their group. So I told him, I'm sorry, I can't join your group. He said, why? I said, I study in the evening college and I work during the day. He said, what work do you do? I said, I work as a lab assistant in the same college. How much do you get? I said, 125. This I'm talking about 68, 67. He said, we will give you 150, so you will get 25 rupees more. Plus, you will be able to do theatre. So that seemed nice. I said, sure, I will join the group. And there we started doing plays of social relevance. We did a lot of English translations. And I got hooked on to acting. And through him, I came to know about the existence of National School of Drama. And I worked with him for 2 years, then I applied in National School of Drama, I got the scholarship, and I was there for 3 years. After passing out from National School of Drama, knowing the theatre situation, because Hindi theatre is not a professional theatre. Even now it is not. Unlike Bengali theatre and Marathi and Gujarati theatre. These are the 3 languages where people working in theatre can survive with, by doing theatre. Till today, Hindi theatre is amateur theatre. You can't live on the earnings from the theatre. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't come from a very rich background or anything like that. So I started wondering, what should I do? Then Nasiruddin Shah, who was my classmate in National School of Drama, he had joined Film Institute, immediately passing out from there. He came in holidays and stayed with me, and he sort of instigated. He said, you should come and join National Film Institute, Pune. I said, I don't have any money. He said, manage, do something, but there is no future in Delhi. And fortunately, I was doing a play called Hamlet. One of the girl who was my junior in National School of Drama came with a friend to see Hamlet. Her friend was an industrialist. He said, oh, he's such a wonderful actor. She said he wants to join the Film Institute and he has no money. He said, big deal, I can give him a scholarship. So he said, oh, that would be lovely. He approached me and he offered 300 rupees per month, which was good enough actually in 74. So he promptly gave me 300. I was a bit awkward because of middle class values, taking money from a stranger. So this friend of mine said, don't worry, you can take it as a loan. And when you start earning, you can return him the money. He can afford it. It makes no difference to him. I said, fine. Then I applied in the Film Institute. I got selected. I wrote him a letter. Thank you very much. And no reply came. Then I sent second letter thinking maybe he didn't get the letter. Then promptly replied came in typed and admiring me and, and saying wonderful things about me. And then I said, I can't make sense. So I told Nasiruddin Shah, I said, you went to a convent school, I went to a municipal school. Your English is better, so just interpret this letter. He read the letter, he said, Om, forget it. You will not get any more money from him. I said, oh my God, now what do I do? I kept meeting strangers who helped me the way up. Friends and total strangers. I was absolutely stuck. I had absolutely no money. Then the guy who was running the mess in the Film Institute, he came to know. He called me to his office and he said, oh, I cook meal for 60 students every day. And I have about 12, 15 servants who look after my mess. So if additional one person will eat, it will not make any difference to me. So you don't worry about it, you concentrate on your studies. Lunch and dinner is on me. I don't serve breakfast, so you organize your breakfast. Total stranger, And even earlier, in earlier part also, I kept
So you were destined to be what you are.
Yes.
Which I think everyone is. After the FTI, you became a symbol along with your dear friend Nasiruddin Shah, Shabana Azmi and others, who were producing very nice films but were tagged as art films and art cinema. Was it a conscious choice or was it just circumstances?
No, it was absolutely a conscious choice because in National Score Drama, what we learned, it was not only, they didn't make just an actor out of us, but also a good human being. It built our characters. And we always did theatre which was socially committed and relevant to our society. A lot of emphasis were on that, and we were exposed to all kind of art, whether it's music, whether it is dance, any art form, paintings. Mr. Al-Qazi, who was the director of National Score Drama, used to inform us that in so-and-so gallery there is a exhibition of so-and-so painter, please everybody go and see it, and we will discuss it in the class. So it was a very well-rounded training which we had in National Score.
Yeah, and since you say that, I was going to ask you later, but your switch from such serious artful films to the mainstream commercial and with your amazing sense of timing in the comedy, it was really amazing. How did that happen?
Survival.
Yeah, that I understood from your first. When you shifted course for 25 additional rupees or 50 additional rupees.
Yeah, because
but nothing wrong. Survival is important.
Yeah, because from art films you could only get bread. That too 3 days old. And you need some butter or jam on it. I owe it to the art cinema because it is today whatever I am, whatever status I enjoy is because of art cinema. And if commercial cinema has any respect for me, it is because of art cinema.
No doubt about it. You have worked with some of the most creative directors of those times. Mrinal Sen, Govind Nihalini,
Satyajit
Shyam
Ray.
Benegal, who gave you, I think, one of the early breaks.
Yes.
What do you remember of those directors and their different styles, just for our consumption?
Well, for obvious reasons, Govind Nihalani is my mentor, Govind Nihalani and Shyam Benegal. My maximum good work is with them. I worked with Mr. Satyajit Ray in one film. I worked with his son in one film and 2 television stories. I worked with Mrinal Sen, Bashu Chatterjee, Bashu Bhattacharya, Utpalendu Chakravarti. With a lot of Bengalis I worked.
May I interrupt? You also worked with a very nice film whose director was a Odia. The film was Shodh.
Shodh. It was Raghunath Mohapatra was the executive producer. I think he should be sitting somewhere.
Raghunath Mohapatra is around, or he'll be here in the evening. I have been seeing
He's here? Okay. So he was the executive producer and director was Biplav Roy Chaudhary. He's a Bengali. He was a Bengali. But it was shot in near Bhubaneswar. We stayed in Bhubaneswar. I remember in 78, and we finished the film. It was a very small budget film. We were shooting 18 hours a day, and we finished the film in 18 days.
I remember seeing your Akrosh long time back. I mean, that kind of cinema you don't get to see. You know, nowadays and for quite some time, our Indian movie is very dialogue heavy. In Akrosh, it was absolutely visual. I mean, I think you hardly spoke, or maybe spoke in flashback a few sentences.
Flashback, yes. There was one scene where I spoke.
Yeah, just one scene. But it was such a powerful cinema.
Yes.
I mean, what is it that has gone wrong and we don't make such movies anymore?
Well, I think there are still, the number of such films was less even then. Today also such films are being made, but with a difference. It has changed its form. Like there are about, I would say in Bombay, a dozen young directors who are making good cinema. But the only change is that they are not finding new talent. They are not taking any risk. They started using stars in their films. And they also started using music, item number, to make it popular. But their subjects are nice, like look at Prakash Jha, for example. He's been making good cinema, whether it is Satyagraha, whether it is Chakravyuh. But he also has item number is in film. And he takes stars. He takes Amitabh Bachchan, he takes Ajay Devgan, So, the number of films have not increased, but it has not decreased either. But hardcore, the cinema what you're talking about, yes, that is missing.
I think not many people know, and I was also not aware, that you have, I think you're the only person who has got 2 National Film Awards in a row for Akrosh and Aharon.
With a 1-year gap. One in 81 and one 83.
Okay, I have 82 and anyway. But which is quite a achievement, and my question was, what have been your most satisfying professional moments?
Satisfying film or?
Moments like achievement of this award, or when a film has done very well, or you
awards I consider like a pat on the back. When your boy who goes to for exams to school or college and he comes back with honors and 99% marks, you give him a pat on his back, and then after 2 weeks he's being treated the same way, that look what will happen next year. So similarly with awards, I had 2 national awards. I have 2 international awards, one in Karlovy Vary International Film Festival and one Brussels International Film Festival for My Son the Fanatic. One was for Hindi, one was for English film. and it's called the Best European Actor Award. Though I'm not a European, I'm an Indian, but since it was a European film, therefore the award is called European. And I was nominated for BAFTA, which is British Academy Awards, for East is East. And I was honored in Montreal World Film Festival, etc., and Padam Shri.
Coming to that, they're not.
So they are all kind of,
Yeah, there are not very many artists from Indian film industry who can claim of such a large body of work in foreign films, especially Hollywood and English movies. You have not only done feature films, you have also done British teleserials.
Yes.
And East is what comes to as a feature film. And you have worked with some of the best actors, Jack Nicholson, Michael Douglas.
Yes.
Would you like to share something?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts.
Yes. Well, I've been lucky to work with all these guys.
But how did these opportunities come up?
Well, it started in 81. There was a series by Granada Television called Jewel in the Crown. It was being shot in India. Jennifer Kapoor recommended my name, so I was with the unit for a month. I was in the first 3 episodes. That was the beginning. Then the next one was Deepa Mehta's first film. Deepa knew my work. I mean, she's being an Indian, she has been seeing Indian films. So it was a Canadian production. Film was Sam and me. So I worked in that. Then things changed drastically when City of Joy came to be filmed in Calcutta, and I was picked up to play the lead role. And it was released all over the world, and American press picked it up, and I got fantastic reviews. So from there it started, things started happening after that.
I've heard only yesterday, maybe you can confirm it, that you are also going to be cast in the Steven Spielberg's movie along with Juhi Chawla.
No, not being cast. We've just completed the film.
Oh, you've completed it?
Yeah.
What is the title?
It's called 100-Foot Journey.
100.
It was shot in south of France, and we had 3 days shooting in Bombay, which day before yesterday we completed it.
I think apart from the acting, which is your forte, which is your facial and expressions, which is the other aspect of your personality which you feel is very strong? I can think of one.
What's that?
Which is your voice.
Yes.
Do you do something about it, or is it just cigarettes?
No, I have done it in the past. Cigarette, I don't know. If we'll have to check with the doctors. Any doctor here? Whether cigarette helps. Are you a doctor? No? You are. Does cigarette change the voice? Sorry? ये तो अनंत महापात्रा है.
Yeah. Okay, at this stage, I think we'll take 1 or 2 questions. I would like to go back. I was trying to ask you that since you have worked with so many different kinds of directors, initially with some of the most creative ones, then you went to Hollywood and Bollywood, and now you are working with the current set of directors. So what difference you find, whether it's in terms of something better or something worse?
You mean difference between...
In styles, in how
no.
they go about making a film, movie making?
Between here and West, or within here?
I want you to compare all 3. The earlier set, the Govind Nihalini and the others like him, then the outside Western,
Right.
and then the current crop of directors.
Well, let's talk about Indian situation first. Well, people like Govind Nihalani, Shyam Benegal, Satyajit Ray, Mrinal Sen, Ritwik Ghatak, Adur Gopalakrishnan, Arvindan, all these people were very, very committed and focused. And that's why they can be called the masters of cinema. And they never compromised. But the change has been because those films didn't make much money. All of them were not successful. Every film was not Ardha Satya or Akrosh. Akrosh was successful, Jaane Bhi Do Yaro was successful, and Ankur was successful, Manthan was successful. But there were a lot of films, art films, which were not successful. So the next generation didn't want to take any risk. They wanted to play safe. Their safety was that they want to pick up good subjects, but with stars and with songs. There's nothing wrong with the songs. For example, in 60s or 50s, all our filmmakers, whether it's Bimal Roy or Mehboob Khan, Guru Dutt, all these people used songs which were part of the theme. They would comment on a situation or they would comment on a character. It was integrated into the film, which disappeared with the new cinema. You know, they were embarrassed to use songs, which was, I think, was a mistake. People like Shyam Benegal, Govind Irani, wherever it is necessary, you could have used songs. There's nothing wrong. Anyway, so the next breed wanted it to be commercially viable. How do they make it viable? By involving stars in it. And there's been a change in the stars also. Earlier, stars didn't want to do art films. Then they have made their money, now they wanted awards. So how do you get awards? By doing good cinema. So they were attracted to good cinema. And there was a certain kind of compromise. They will not charge as much as they will charge a hardcore commercial film. They will charge less. And the filmmakers who want to do good cinema, they get stars. People like Prakash Jha, I gave you an example. Ketan Mehta, Prakash Jha, Vinod Chopra, Bharadwaj. They are making good films, but they have stars in their films. So that is the kind of a change which occurred. As far as Western cinema and Indian cinema, the way of functioning is concerned, 15 years ago, or maybe even 10 years ago, no Hindi film had a script. Today, there is a bound script. Even for a Ghatiya film, even for a film which is not going to be released, there is a bound typed script. That much change has happened. Earlier, there was no script. You were narrated a story, you were told your character, and the day you are shooting, you don't know what scene you are shooting. When you reach the studio, you ask for a scene, assistant will come and say, "Sir, it's being written." And we are supposed to be starting shooting in half an hour. The scene is being written. And this was a situation. And sometime Kader Khan was very popular as a writer, dialogue writer. He's sitting in Madras because he was an actor also. So he's acting in a film. On the phone, he's narrating a scene to somebody in Bombay that these are the dialogues for today's scene. So today this change has happened, that there is some kind of a discipline which has come into the Bombay film industry. They started making call sheets, but there's still a long way to go. They have started printing, they've been sort of copying the West, but not fully as yet. Hopefully soon they will. But in the West, everybody is absolute professional. To give you a crude example is, you want to hang a painting, they will have a proper hammer. Even if you have asked something in an emergency or something which was not expected, they will have a hammer. And what will our guy do here? He have to put a nail, so he will look for a stone. Are wo patthar lana hai? No, तो पत्थर से ठोकेंगे, ठीक से ठोकेगा नहीं. They will have everything. You ask art director, Sui Dhaga, you ask him anything connected with, because everybody has read the script. They know what is required in the film. And nobody teaches anybody. The makeup man would know how to do the makeup. No director is going to tell him. Art director knows his job. Costume guy knows his job. Everybody knows their job very, very well. That is the big difference.
It is very, yeah. So technologically also we are catching up with them.
Yes, and their equipment is much more advanced than us, in camera and lights and things like that.
Bollywood has has become part and parcel of the entire Indian society. I mean, films were always very important and were part of the entertainment, but they had not seeped into every sphere of life as they have in the last 15-20 years. There is no wedding which is complete without Bollywood. There is no religious function which is complete without Bollywood. So it has such a tremendous influence of our society, in our society. And in a way, the movies reflect the society, and the society is what movies are. It's a kind of symbiotic. Do you dwell on that? Do you think the Indian movie industry has done enough to influence the society, or is just entertainment and make money and commercial?
Well, largely it is considered entertainment, but some films do make an impact. I mean, I know a few examples which happened. Like, for example, I received one long letter, beautiful handwriting. After about 6-7 years, Akrosh was released. And there was some girl who wrote a letter saying that, thank you very much. I had seen Akrosh, I was very moved and touched. And today I am an NGO and working in a tribal area. It is because of that film. So I gave that letter to Govind Nihalani. I said, here is your achievement. So like that, it does affect.
Not to the extent it can, because
oh yes, that is very true.
It's a huge influence. It can create and change the society in many positive ways. I understood that you are not against music.
No, I'm not.
I take it to believe that you are fond of music.
I am fond of music, but not this kind of
What plays in your car
sort of.
nowadays?
Plays in my car is old songs.
Indian.
Yeah.
Are you
Oh,
also?
PT करते हैं आजकल तो. There is no dance.
On the horizon, what do you see? Where our film industry will be 10, 20 years down the line?
I think it will be, you see, when cinema started, it had only artists in it. There were musicians who were attracted to cinema, there were writers, there were singers, there were theatre people who came into the film industry. So whoever was connected with arts came to the cinema. When cinema became popular and it became commercially viable, then one gentleman walked in, and that was the businessman. And he ruined everything. So, businessman has taken over, and he is not going to go away. So therefore, the quality of your film will not be aesthetically ever, barring some. It will be like a classical music, art films. It will remain like a classical music.
So the person who puts in the money calls the shots, and he has no art.
Yes. It's very unfortunate, but
unfortunate.
that is the truth.
So that is why all of us end up listening to old songs only.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear a tune of the old songs, by hearing a tune, you can say the words.
And people who are classically inclined know what raga it is. Why is it that you have concentrated only on one aspect of filmmaking, which is acting? I mean, now that, let's say, you are financially more comfortable, why have you ever thought of going into production, direction, something else?
No, no. I am very, I'm not too ambitious in terms of money. So therefore, I am pretty happy and I don't want to stress my mind and lose sleep.
How do you de-stress?
I de-stress by getting into the kitchen. I de-stress going to Khandala, working on the plants. I enjoy that. That relaxes me. And cooking for me is like a therapy.
It is.
And I keep improvising. It's not that, only one way of cooking the same thing. You try and sort of change, try and evolve new things.
Do you read, sir? Do you read books?
I don't read a lot, I'll be very honest. But I do enjoy reading.
But over the years, you are a creative person. You have read, you have absorbed so much. Have you ever thought of writing something about yourself, about you have such a large body of work. You have traveled around the world. You have met all kinds of people. So it's a very enriching life and experiences that you hold within yourself. I mean, my request would be that you must pen it down and let some people share it. I don't know how you feel it.
I find writing perhaps is the most difficult.
You can always get somebody to,
Yes,
pen it.
that can be done.
But are you thinking of that?
You tell your experiences and somebody puts it down.
But have you thought of that, or will you not think of that?
Now I will think of it.
So that's what we have achieved today.
Because there are a lot of wonderful stories.
Yes. India, we are highly politicized people. And you mentioned that you don't like politicians. But I'm sure
I love them.
You love them. But anything political you would like to say?
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm all ready. What do you want to know?
Your thought on the current state of politics?
Everybody reads newspapers. You know who has how much money. Don't you? Sharad Pawar has the maximum amount of money. Now, what I wonder about, that there is so much noise. Kalmadi साहब 400 करोड़ ले गए, 6 महीने के लिए अंदर डाल दो. अरे मुझे अंदर डाल दो, तुम मुझे 20 करोड़ दे दो.
Thank Om Puri ji profusely for a very enlightening and very interesting chat that we have had. And I am sorry to say, although हमारा दिल नहीं भरा है, but we have to end it here.
Thanks to the organizer for inviting me to Think Literature Festival. And I wish you all the best, all of you.